Hey everyone, so we have some breaking news. Yes, breaking news on the stimulus during the Packer game. Green and yellow, green and yellow. Yes, breaking news. So, where we were at, we had the bipartisan bill in of $600 stimulus checks, unemployment, whole bunch of whole bunch of foreign spending. Trump said he was going to veto it. He did not technically veto it. Everyone went on vacation. Trump went down to Mar-a-Lago to go on his nice little golf course down there and play some golf for his Christmas. They sent the bill down to him just in case he changed his mind. And so he actually tweeted the day after Christmas, or no, the day of Christmas, I believe it was, and said, he says, I up my demand. I not only want $2,000 checks for adults, but I want $2,000 checks for dependents, for kids as well. Yes, he upped it. And then, okay, so you go from not wanting 600 to 2,000, then you want 2,000 for adults plus 2,000 for kids. And now, yes, tonight, people, he has signed the bill for the $600 checks. Donald Trump has signed the bill. We are all going to be receiving more stimulus. We should receive everyone. The first deposits will go out on the 4th, not this week, but the following week, Monday. Deposits will start going out. Most people will receive it within 10 days. The others will receive it within the following 10 days. 3 weeks tops. Every single person should receive it, which is $600 for adults as well as $600 for dependents. So if you are younger than 17, you receive a check for them as well. I shouldn't say I should say if you have kids under 17, you will receive a check for them for 600 as well. If you make under 80,000, I believe it is, and it might be 75. If you make under 80 grand, 75 or 80 grand, you get the 600, and then for every $100 past that, you lose $5. Every 100 over the 75 or 80 grand, you lose $5 of the 600, as well as $300 enhanced unemployment for 11 weeks. It might be 10 because this was the first week. It would have been this coming week, and being that we don't know when the bill will be signed, we don't know if we're going to lose that 1 week, so it might only be 10 weeks. So we might have lost $300 of that, but possibly not, depending on how they do it, because it wasn't retroactive in the stimulus. There was no retroactive pay. So if you've already lost your unemployment, then you don't receive them lost weeks. No, it starts when they first started. And so, yes, that is good though. This is really good news. It's not the $2,000 checks we wanted, no, but it is something, because tomorrow they were going to the floor and they were going to have a regular vote tomorrow on the $2,000 checks. And being that it did not pass on the unanimous vote for the $2,000 checks, there was a very likely chance that it wasn't going to pass on the House floor for the regular vote. And what does that mean? We wouldn't have had anything. They would have had to wait. People wouldn't have got anything. People would have had to wait for Biden to come in on the 20th and then they would have went back to negotiations. But the House, or the government, is going to be shut down this week. They are only staying in probably 1 or 2 more days to vote to get these checks processed. Being that Trump has signed it now, it's official. It's a done deal. All there is left to do is put that bill into act and process the funds. And so the government is pretty much officially shut down after they do that this week. And so if we didn't pass it tomorrow on the vote, they would have been done. They would have been going back home. They would have been on break again, and we wouldn't have received anything. So you have to look at it like this: something is better than nothing, especially with Biden coming in and him having huge with Biden in and him being the last person that signs it like Trump, he has major persuasion. They have to go to him to see what he wants, what he thinks it should be, and what he's willing to sign. That's why this whole ordeal with Trump that just took place, this was just a political stunt for him to try to get the people's support. Because he's a sore loser. He just lost the election. Any chance he has, he's trying to win over the people's support because he's still trying to steal the election, and he's still possibly might run in 2024. And so, being that he had been in communication with Mnuchin and McCarthy and McConnell, they all are in communication with each other on the stimulus. This was a bipartisan bill. They all worked on it together. The repubs first bill that they put in didn't even have checks. Then the Dem put in a bill with $1,200 or $2,000 checks. They blocked that. Dems blocked the repubs checks. Dems blocked the Republicans' bill with no checks. Republicans blocked the Dems bill with $1,200, $2,000 checks. So they came back after the election and after Thanksgiving, and they decided to do a bipartisan bill and work on one together. And so, yes, they were all in communications on it. Matter of fact, for days and days, they were already done with that aspect of the bill, the $600 checks. For the last 3-4 days, they were only working on what the powers was going to be with Biden and what he was going to be able to do with the stimulus, the next stimulus, because there will be another stimulus as well, because this one was just a stepping stone to get into the next term, pretty much the next quarter of our economy. The next, it was just a stepping stool, bridge to get us over there. And so there's, it was just a ridiculous political stunt on his end, because he wanted to leave the people with a good look. He wanted to make them feel like he was wanting more for them and this and that. But all along, no, they didn't want anything. They didn't want anything. And so, yes, people, $600 stimulus, 300 enhanced unemployment, more PPE and EIDL loans are coming. 600 stimulus checks for adults, 600 stimulus checks for dependents, $300 enhanced unemployment for 10 or 11 weeks, and more PPE loan money, more EIDL loan money, whole bunch of foreign spending, whole bunch of bullshit that could have went to us, our own people, but that's our government for you. And for all of you naysayers that say, oh, we don't need this, we're just putting ourselves into more debt, oh, this is just bullshit, people just need to go out there and get jobs and this and that, and you know what? You don't know what's going on. You think that you know about the majority of people in our country and how they're doing financially? There are 330 million people, little over 330 million people in our country. Yes, a little over 330 million people in our country. That means there are millions upon millions of families. You do not know how millions upon millions of families are doing. You do not know if there are jobs out there in them towns, in them smaller counties, even in them cities that people can go to. Especially when company after company is shut down, restaurant after restaurant is shut down, and especially when companies are only, the ones that are open and restaurants that are open are only allowed to operate at so much. They're only, I think it's only like half capacity they're only able to operate at. So, it's just ridiculous if you think people don't need this because you're just not around any. You're just ignorant to the fact that there is real struggle out there. And that for all the people with the debt, and this is just going to hurt us in the long run and this and that, you really need to study and do some research on our economy, on our financial economy of the U.S. and the world even at that. We are one of the most successful, one of the most powerful, most respected countries in the world. Do you honestly think that we are really truly in debt to where we didn't have options to where we truly struggle as a whole country when we have 330 million people in our country and majority of them are working. We have over 150 million people that go to work. Over 150 million people go to work. So when you have millions of people that go to work, when you take out on Monday, the first hour of work, them 150 go to work. That's $150 million from just $1 from 1 hour of taxes taken out. And most people are putting in $2, $3, $4 an hour of taxes. So you say you take an average of, say, $3 out an hour of taxes for 1 hour on Monday. That's $450 million that they gain. $450 million that they collect in taxes off of 1 hour on Monday. That's billions of dollars a day, trillions of dollars a year, trillions. So after so many years, this is what happens. At the end of the year, after all the millions and billions and trillions of dollars are collected from taxes, they go into our World Bank. It's a World Bank where the countries put their money into the bank. It used to be one, but now it's a World Bank. Every country puts their money in. It's controlled like that. It's so at the end of the year, they get notes for the money that they put in, and them notes go to the Treasury, the U.S. Treasury, our bank, our main bank, U.S. Treasury. That's where our country's bank is, and them notes get divided into agencies where they collected that money from. So the biggest debt we have, you know how we're trillions of dollars in debt? Our biggest debt is Social Security. The most money our debt is owed to us, our people. We're owed that debt. The majority of the debt, we're owed it. Because every single hour, day, week, month, year, they take taxes out for Social Security. It isn't being used as much as what they're getting. Because it's way more is being collected than what they're paying out. Everyone pays in on Social Security, but every year they only pay it out to a small percentage of people, only the people that have retired. So they're collecting, say, 100% of Social Security. They're only dividing that back out, 10% of it, to the people that are now retired. And so they have all that money sitting in that World Bank. Guess what it's doing? Guess what it's doing? Your own money is making them money. And so now, guess what? After it gets divided out at the end of the year, a portion of that to them, and then all that money stays there, guess what? Then the other notes that they collected, those go out to the other agencies they owed. DEA, CIA, FBI, the foreign countries we have trade deals that we owe. They owe us money too. Don't forget about that. We just don't owe countries money. They owe us that. So don't think we just owe these countries money and we're the ones that are in serious debt. No, it goes both ways. Yes, one of the most successful, most powerful, respected country is not shit. We owe all these trillions of dollars, and it's not like that. It's not genuinely like that where you take out a loan from a bank and now you're in debt. That's not the same debt our country is in. And so, after that happens, every year, what do? We decide to keep our military in all these other countries because we have resources. There's all sorts of resources in other countries. So we want to keep our military over there, controlling them and helping them build up their country so then they can eventually be able to be economy like us, and we can eventually trade with them and make money off of them. That's what our investment is. That's why we keep our military, and that's why we help build them up. But check it out. Continuously, we give these countries billions upon trillions of dollars. Yes, billions upon trillions of dollars. We're giving multiple countries out money every year. And now, after so many years of doing that, and not paying real close attention to the detail of numbers of what we've collected every single year, and what's left, and then what we give out to countries, that's why we continuously stay in debt. Because we're giving out to others before we take care of ourselves every single year, every single decade, every single century. If we have never ever helped any country out there, no country ever, and just gave to us, we would be I tell you what, we wouldn't be in any debt at all, but we would be a massive, powerful country that would override every single country in this fucking world by probably 20. We would have, yeah, it would just be crazy. It would be insane, and they don't. And that's like having a huge ass mansion on the block, and the rest of the people around you are living in regular homes. That's what it would be like, and that's not fair. It's not humane, you know. So but then again, we go about it so humanely, we forget to take care of ourselves. And it's just ridiculous. And that's not even all of it. That's not the wars we've been in and go to. That's not financing our wars. It's just there's all sorts of other programs in the U.S. even that they fund that shouldn't be funded completely to the way they do. You know, they can fund them, but we can have these programs, but you don't need to give them that much money. You don't need, you know, and if you do, then don't give other countries programs that much money, because not only are we in these countries building them up and protecting and organizing our resources over there, we're giving these countries that they have their own programs, we're giving their programs money to help them even. It's just ridiculous. And so don't get it twisted. Don't think that we are just a country that gives all sorts of our people money and we don't have it. No, we've paid in for it long ago. We have made up for it. And that's why people have such strong feelings about a particular level of socialism. Because what people don't realize is there's a different level of socialism you can live by. You don't have to live by the one like China and Russia do, or other countries where they're dictators. No, you can live to the ones where people aren't having over $200 billion in their bank, where another person is homeless on the street. No one should have over $200 billion and walking by someone laying on the street in their own city that's laying on the fucking sidewalk. That's not how we got here as a country. They weren't able to obtain that money by that way. They weren't able to get all that money from us being like that. They would never have that if we weren't the humane people we are. And so that's not how we should live. So yes, people that have that type of money and them type of funds should be, dividing them up way more generously than what they do, because no one should have a cushion that large and other people's. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but people shouldn't be at the bottom that much then. Okay, you can acquire that much, but others should not have that much. You shouldn't be keeping all that. If you're going to acquire all that, that should be, there should be things you should be having to give into. You should be paying in more. You shouldn't be paying the same amount of taxes when you have billions of dollars as someone that has millions. Because that's what happens when you get billions. You end up finding ways, you end up putting your money into different things to where that profit comes back in a different way, to where you're not paying the same amount of taxes on them. It's actually not even that complicated. After you make so much money, most of your money that you're making money from isn't income tax then anymore. It's investments, and it's stocks, and it's different types of things that have different amount of taxes on them. And so it's like there's just loopholes that they're not even real loopholes. They're just systems that aren't set up right. A loophole is like trying to find a way, or a system that corrupts the system that's correct, and the system that's originally there isn't set up right. So it's just ridiculous. And yeah, and the thing is there's people that say, oh, that the rich pay majority of the taxes now, this and that and this, and that's because they have majority of the money now. That doesn't mean they're paying a fair share just because they're paying majority of it. No, majority of the wealthy people pay an average of 22-23% taxes a year. That's what someone pays when they're making only millions. And these people have billions. They have 100,000 times that. And so yeah, if you look into it and you do your research and you see what they actually pay, and that's not that they're not admitting it. They admit this, they know this. But of course, if someone has that much money and they're able to only pay that, they're just gonna do it. They're not gonna say, oh, here's an extra $10 billion a year. Here's $10 billion. I made 30, but you only made me pay 5. But I made 30. Here's 5 billion. Oh no, wait, that's not right. Here's 15 billion. or 10 billion even. You don't even have to go half. Just go 10. Here I made 30 billion. Here's 10 billion. You only had to pay 5. I'm not giving exact numbers, but that's how it is. It's like people can make it right themselves. They don't have to go by the system, but that's what level of greed and selfishness we have in our country, And so, and that's another thing. A country on our level, the country that has the businesses and the type of value they are to the whole world, we have the most valuablest businesses in our country. You name it, it's one of our businesses pretty much. There might be an off brand of it that's 10 times level below us, or it might be another brand of that, but it's not on the level that they are. It's our businesses pretty much make the world go around. And so, yeah, we don't have that type of real debt, and we do deserve what we get, and plus more, because we became that way, because we became united. Everyone wouldn't have been able to do that on our own. We all don't deserve that on individually, but when you put us all together and what we've been able to do as a United States of America, yes, we do deserve that. We paid in hundreds of trillions of dollars. We pay in trillions and billions of dollars every single fucking year in taxes, and we only get a little percentage of it back, where fucking 10 times that goes to other countries. So yeah, we deserve it. And so, yes, breaking news, stimulus, people, more stimulus to come. The fair right amount is more to come with Biden. Biden probably will be putting in more than $2,000 checks. I'm very confident it's probably going to be multiple payments of 6 or 1,200. It's probably going to be about 2-3 months worth of 1,200 a month. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy your holidays. Go Pack, go!